Matthew, good afternoon.
Hey, boys, what's happening, brah? It's having a pretty gnarly chat we're having there.
Yeah, it is. We're just talking about the great Kelly Slater.
Yeah. I hear he's got more trophies than friends, though.
I hear that.
Okay. Is that right?
Yeah, I heard he's...
You can't please everything. God doesn't give you everything.
No,
I
he
suppose.
doesn't.
Or
He's got big feet, really big feet.
yes, unusual-looking feet.
Unusually fit. And doesn't really drink. So
Nah.
maybe he is. Maybe he's on the bandwagon now. But he certainly was... he's certainly one of the world's best athletes we've ever seen.
We went down to Bells Beach one year, and Hoyo, your man,
Yep.
Hoyo, he took my Cooper, and said, come on, I'll get a photo with Kelly. And they walked in and said, Kelly, can we get a photo of this young bloke? He said, go away, I'm eating.
No way.
Yeah. So that was pretty terse, but you don't know what, sometimes that's part, I suppose, what makes them great competitors. But I'm more of a, growing up, I love blokes like Ross Clark-Jones, Martin Potter. They were my two favourites.
What about Kong? Were you a fan?
Love Gary Elkerton. Love, mate. So his old man, so he grew up on a prawn trawler.
Yeah.
Do you know Kong? Yeah, his old man was used to go up around the Whit Sundays, and he used to find, I read in his book, his dad would go prawning, and, mate, he'd find breaks up in the Whit Sundays, out on reefs and things like that, but... unusual man.
Yes. He was quality acting too. I don't know if you remember the Mad Wax movie.
Yeah.
So they had this magic wax, and you put it on your board.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go to Hawaii, and then all of a sudden the bus,
Really?
the special effects, and the acting was so bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
but so good.
It's become a cult classic.
Yeah.
I reckon it's the greatest surf movie.
Yep.
I think that, and there was a Performers, remember that?
Endless
Richard
Summer.
Cram and all those blokes. Endless Summer.
Endless Summer.
Man, that was, that's something else. When they discovered Cape St. Francis,
Yeah, yes.
didn't they? Because those blokes, I mean, it sounds nothing now, but for those two blokes to just go over to the African continent and just go, right, we're going to, surf, surfing on the African coast and then going down and finding Cape St. Francis and stuff like that. Pretty amazing.
And the fisherman, then they asked the fisherman goes, yeah, this is how it's like every day.
really?
Because they asked the surfer, says, what, is this, does anyone surf? He goes, no, we've never seen anyone ride aways, but it's like this every day of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Just
And
perfect riding.
they destroyed it. It shows you like how, talk about the ecosystem, and there's always a reaction to something you do. Well, they built a housing development near Cape St. Francis, and it shifted so much sand that it actually filled in parts of the reef, and it stuffed the break.
Yep.
It was a Desi Hasler who he was impacted by the...
Yeah, he put a seawall up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matthew will have to do it shortly too, with that big
No,
giant
mate.
house there right on the
Mate.
sand.
I got the reef protecting me. But Des, when he was looking to buy that house, mate, they reckon Des had the what do you call it? The measuring, he had the measuring stick out, the measuring tape, and he was looking at historical records and everything.
Oh,
Des.
the tide coming up.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's very Des.
It's erosion. The seas aren't rising, just to let you know. Now, my daughter is here, Luca, and we'd have an argument if she was listening to this. They think climate change, it may be be true, but the seas are not rising. I don't care what you say.
No,
Don't care.
it's funny, isn't it? With it, I mean, climate is changing, but you just don't know. It's just what happens. It
cyclical.
evolves all the time. I mean, an example of that, my hometown of Cessnock, mate. Growing up, we used to get frosts all the time, and we used to. Mate, Tyrrell's used to produce the most darling Pinot Noir, which needs a really cold climate. It needs sun through the day, and it needs like a frost in the mornings. But only produce Shiraz now, and even struggling to produce Shiraz.
Oh, the darling Pinot Noir, Brian.
Really darling. A nice Beaujolais as well.
Speaking of frost, did you ever go down that avenue of having tips in your hair, Matthew? Were you and Joey? Yeah. I'm sure. I think I remember Joey having highlights.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does. Although when he gets in the water, he gets out in the sun, it does tinge a little bit.
Okay.
I still reckon he throws a little
Yeah,
bit.
a bit of lemon in there.
But yeah, I put peroxide through my hair. I'll send you a photo, and I thought, mate, I was picturing myself like blonde hair, blue eyes, like I'm Luke Egan sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
it
just went red. It went red. Of course, mate. And there's another one of my favourite surfers, mate, Luke. A Newey boy, very close to home, as we
as we know.
Be aware.
All right, Matthew, it looks like if Mal wants this job in the I know we spoke about this on Monday, but he's come out even more bullish. Are we just going to give him the job?
I reckon we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do. I think as long as you can put a really good coaching staff around him, you find 2 or 3 of the best young coaches, and you pay him more than other people would for assistants, and you get over there and let him go. I mean, we said before, Sydney Swans, when they needed someone, they brought Ron Barassi down here. They did the same with Kevin Sheedy and GWS, and yeah, we need a figurehead over there. And Mal, I mean, even non-rugby league people, non-sporting people know who Mal Meninga is.
Yep.
Hey, Matty, we were talking about this before, and I don't disagree either. I think he's a great candidate for Perth, but he's probably a better candidate for PNG. You know, like given the fact that so many kids are running around there with the Christian name Meninga. You've got him having had coached the PNG side before. So my only thing that would see him miss out on the Perth job would probably be that Volandis and co want him to coach the PNG side.
Well, my mail is they want Wayne.
PNG.
My mail is that's the mail going around that Wayne will be the coach of PNG. Don't know that's it's pretty strong mail that's going around. Well, that's their desire. They want Mal, of course. Wayne, and Wayne's got a lot of links there. His brother Bobby, he coached the PNG national side for I think a couple of World Cups. He was in charge with them. So yeah, there's connection there.
MJ, have you finalised your Origin team, albeit injuries?
I have, Fletch.
Okay.
I have.
Would you like to run through it quickly?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Dylan Edwards at the back.
Yep.
If all fit and ready to go, I go Tom Travojevic one wing, Brian To'o on the other.
Yes.
No Lomax.
Tough to leave Lomax out. Tough to leave him out, but I cannot leave Tom Travojevic out of the 17.
Yep.
And To'o has just been mighty at State of Origin from the moment he stepped in there. So I've got to pick To'o. Centres, easy, Latrell and Stephen Crichton. Mate, Stephen Crichton, Latrell Mitchell, that's got a fair bit of Mal Meninga, June Miles about it, those two blokes. And then my halves, lock Nathan in, and I bellyache over this one because, you know, with Mitch and Nathan, there is a risk putting 2 really primary ball players in there together, 2 dominant halves, right? Who's going to be able to take a step back under pressure? They start stepping on each other's toes. But certainly for the first game, I'd have a crack. I'd go Moses and Cleary. This is where it gets interesting. I've gone Jake Travojevic at 13 to start, and I'll state why in a second. My other middles are Payne Haas and Mitch Barnett. The hooker, Reece Robson. The 2 back rowers, Liam Martin and Angus Crichton. 14's Connor Watson, Hudson Young, Isaiah Yeo, and Spencer Lanier. 18th man, Terrell May. The one that hurts the most to leave out is Ryan Pappenhausen. I'd love to find a spot for him there, perhaps. With the Jake Travojevic, and I've said this before, boys, is that you don't... Jake, you know, with Jake, he's probably... You see his worth mostly when he's not there, if that makes sense. Like in other series, we've left him out or we've dropped him, and then we always call him back the next game because, you know, it's not a lot of times what it brings as far as skill, pass selection, even his great defence. It's just what he brings to the team as far as emotion and motivation and all that. Like that, he's just, you know, his contribution is, you know, pretty, I think, been undervalued over the years. And so he is in my starting lineup, and the reason why I start him and I start Isaiah off the bench is that I just want to play nice and straight and simple to start the game in that first 20-25 minutes. I don't want the halves to get into the pattern of starting to push the ball towards the sidelines. I want to see Mitchell, and particularly I want to see Nathan up flat on the ruck line challenging the defence. So I want those 2 blokes to find their rhythm as first receivers, you know, split either side, however they want to do it. I want them to find their rhythm, and then I want to bring Isaiah on after that. So that's my thinking.
And, you know, the fact that now the game has changed a bit where the wingers do so many of the carries, because the knock on Jake is, he might have lost a half a yard of pace. Defensively, he's fine. And we know he's got that great technique. So if you put him in for 20 and just say, now listen, if Laurie just says, now all I need you to do is just chop everyone in half, play the ball down, I think we can make up the carries with
Yes.
the other players in the team, especially our back five.
Yeah, no, Fletch, no doubt. If you start the game, well, and there's high completions, and Queensland start well, there's going to be very, very few set starts. It's going to be a pure early on. It's a yardage game.
Yeah.
And you nailed it there. The players who dominate the yardage are the outside backs. They'll kick long downfield. It'll either be To'o or Dylan Edwards who'll take one. The other one will take play 2, and probably the other one will take play 3 again. If it's Edwards, you see Edwards do this a lot of times at Penrith. He'll take play 1, To'o will take play 2, Edwards will go again on play 3 or maybe play 4. So really, early in that game, the forwards have just got to worry about holding their end up defensively. The outside backs will do the job there. And so, yeah, look, I just trust Jake. To start the game, if you're going to put someone in, I'll state it like this. At the start of a game, if you're going to put someone in there, and all they need to be is like 7.5, out of 10 or 7 out of 10, just to do the job early on and consolidate. I trust Jake. I trust him to get it done. Jake's one of those blokes. He will not let you down.
No.
Hey, Matty, who do you think they go with, Billy? He's got Murray Talangi, he's got Selwyn Cobbo and Coates as your wing options.
I'd go Cobbo and Coates. I think Cobbo's football, when he goes back to the wing, it'll go through the roof, given what he's experienced at fullback. He has been their best player, Cobbo, the Broncos, and he's been really, really good at fullback, been fantastic. But the fitness that he's going to get out of playing fullback and the tactical nous, knowing where to pop up, he's been really strong. But when he goes back to the wing, I think he'll be mighty. He'll go. And I keep hearing that Billy might leave him out. I certainly wouldn't. I'd be picking him.
So, Fletch, the Bulldogs were $67 at one point when they trailed against Canberra.
Yep.
Hot hand Houlihan tipped him, I understand.
You didn't get the 60s though, did you, MJ?
$31.
$31. And then the week before you had the treble on Fletcher Sharp.
Yes.
Have you got something this week for us?
Geez, boys, you put me on the spot here.
We'll save it tomorrow for Morning Glory.
Yeah, save it tomorrow.
You know what, boys? Good call. I just don't want to do it frivolously, if that makes sense.
Now, just a little bit of critiquing. Now, I don't want to tell you, you are the doyen of radio, morning radio. I feel you keep going to your producer, Ben Hogarth, just a little bit too much when you guys discuss rugby league. I find he's becoming quite opinionated, quite annoying. And I feel that we should get him just to drop off a little bit. If he wants to talk about the Matildas, fine.
Yep.
If he wants to talk about
softball,
fine.
Yep.
T-ball, he's a guru with T-ball. But when it comes to rugby league, especially Manly, Ben Hogarth, shut your pie hole. I've said it.
Fletch, I'm not proud of what I've done here. See, what I do is when I start a team, I like to make it very much egalitarian. Everyone's on the same level. However, with the radio show, I've erred. Yeah. I've given some of the blokes just way too much rope, including Hogarth. And, I've got to stamp it down. I've got to go back to my dictatorial ways.
Yeah. What's his segment? He's got a couple of segments.
High on the Hogarth.
Yeah.
I let him do Movie of the Week.
Yeah.
That's when I take my spot on the bench for 20 minutes to get my second wind. And he does a bit of the game previews as well. Mate, he's really on the bit.
Yeah, I know he is. And I tell you what, and he's a big supporter of PETA, P-E-T-A. He wants the Buck. He wants him gone as well. That probably pretty much sums up Hogarth.
Mate, I'm actually a supporter of a lot of the stuff PETA does. Like I don't support all the stuff that they throw paint at people when they're enjoying a stadium.
Hang on, we're still talking about Volandis here, aren't we?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sorry, because I've said him.
But mate, this business. I mean, mate, Buck loves doing the laps of Suncorp Stadium when they score.
He loves
Surely,
it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the tail wagging and the smile on the face. Mate, he's everyone's friend.
Everyone's friend.
He'd be shattered if we become the Brisbane Boomerangs and Buck was put out to pasture or even worse. Mate, it'd be shattered. It just would not be the same. I mean, I go to Magic Round for one reason, as you know, to see Buck and to give Buck
and get
to
blind
give Buck some of those sugar tablets.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, a nice apple
and carrots. What is it about carrots that horses like?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued
It's just
by
a crunch. Well, a bloke was telling me once, and it makes sense. I went riding one day.
Sorry?
I actually fell off my horse. Yeah, I did. I went horse riding.
Sorry, you went.
Yeah, and yeah, I went horse riding with Adam Muir, Hertzie, and a couple of my mates. Anyway, mine was just out of control and went riding over the sand dunes. Anyway, it fell over, and anyway, but I survived, boys.
Yeah.
But my point was this: I couldn't get my horse away from the tree. It was just eating everything. And I said, mate, what's going on? He said, mate, horses are mouth obsessive. They just love just chewing everything. It's a bit like our mate Heine.
You ever eaten horse? I ate horse in Italy. Surprisingly nice.
Really, Brian?
Surprisingly nice.
Yeah, it was a staple in the Magno Cavallo house growing up with Trish. Yeah,
Really? Yeah. I
Her and the boys sometimes have a bit of a steak, have a horse sandwich.
What's for
Not
dinner
my
tonight,
go.
Mum? Oh, a bit of shiitake, side of winks.
Peter's going to
Yeah.
get hold of this.
Oh, Peter won't like that.
Peter will come at us like you wouldn't believe.
Hey, we're going to go to the break, boys. Matthew, have a good show tomorrow. Have a good show tonight, and we appreciate your time. What, you're still here? Well, you can see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio, you beautiful humans.